So the importance of good contract management for me really centres around the landlord being a strong client, and that's really about making sure you've got a level playing field between the relationship between the landlord and its contractor. And too often, perhaps within the sector, we've seen contracts mobilised, and once that contract's mobilised, the savings that were intended through the procurement exercise aren't realised on the bottom line, costs aren't controlled, disputes arise, and all of these things distract with getting on with what's really important to everybody, which is an excellent service for customers. I would describe Valueworks as providing a platform that helps to level the playing field between the contractor and the landlord, where historically perhaps the landlord hasn't been as strong a client as it needs to be. And if the client landlord isn't having a strong contract management, then there are a number of risks in there that around fraud or over-ordering, and the e-marketplace and the way we support clients is really to mitigate some of those areas where traditionally there's been value leakage. And in its most simplistic terms, if you're procuring a contract and it's achieving a significant saving, if you're utilising Valueworks and the support we provide, when you re-tender that contract in 4 years, in 6 years' time, then actually you've got assurance that you'll still be really close to where the market price is. And if you're re-procuring in 4 to 6 years and you're finding you're making a significant saving, the question is, what happened in the time of that contract that you moved so far from what was a kind of a market position? And what we do at Valueworks is guaranteed to lock in those savings and ensure that at the end of the term of that contract, you are still delivering with value for money, with quality, with assurance, and you've had an independent platform that's really helped you to build a trusted relationship, that there's one source of truth for both you and the contractor, whether that's being a supply and fit or a more integrated supply chain solution or partnering solution. So one of the benefits of the e-marketplace is having that visibility of what's going on, that one source of truth that both parties can agree. And we manage changes, variations, control of variations, price movement in the real time as it happens. So maybe in a traditional partnering contract or an open book contract, you get to the end of the year and you start reviewing the books, and actually disputes arise that actually quite quickly can consume professional fees, solicitors, audits. And with Valueworks, what we're doing is managing that in real time, that those don't build up, those don't escalate, they get resolved at the point in which they're occurring. And actually when you get to the end of the year, then actually those kind of chunky kind of reconciliation and audits don't have to happen. And so significant kind of non-cashable benefits can be realised. It's harder for us to demonstrate that because actually there are risks that gets mitigated that doesn't occur when you work with Valueworks. We can only really benchmark that against previous experiences and previous contracts where it's not untypical to reach a point where you're having to procure a number of consultants or advisors to really help resolve and unpick contractual issues. So Valueworks supports a number of different contractor and in-house contractor models, and we could describe that we can provide that contract management support to really try and find and tease out further efficiencies from a supply and fit right through to an integrated partnering to a fully integrated supply chain model. And the kind of risk rewards of those goes from maybe efficiencies of 5 to 10% up to from sort of a very simple supply chain supply and fit model to greater efficiencies achievable out of a more integrated supply chain model, maybe a disaggregated materials and labour contract. The advantage of using Valueworks is as you get to that more complex supply chain, then actually the opportunities, the efficiencies that can be achieved are greater, and we think that within the scale of what we can do, that Valueworks can achieve those higher efficiencies because we provide a controlled environment to really manage and control that slightly more complex delivery model. So if there's an appetite to achieve greater efficiencies, but concerns around the complexity of that and that requirement to have some support, then Valueworks provides a really well-established technology automated platform to really create the right control environment to manage much more complex supply chain models, achieve greater efficiencies, and do that in a manner that really supports the client to have a robust and strong